Hi everyone, I'm continuing my John Maxwell and I'm working through a workbook called Developing the Leader Within You. So the chapter that I worked through today was on character and developing the character within us. In any organization, having trust, authenticity, humility is important. And when we focus on building those things for ourselves and our companies, then good things start to happen. Our companies start to flourish as we flourish. So when trust is there, everything goes smoothly. But if trust is not there, nothing goes smoothly. If people constantly have to check up on you, constantly have to see where you are, what you're doing, and you are persecuted for doing right, that's not a good environment. When you are trusted, when you make mistakes, people can overlook those mistakes and you can carry on because you have trust. So, for example, in the work that I do, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, things go wrong with the war now in Israel and the war in Ukraine. Our supply systems are being affected. So that means that packages do not arrive when they're supposed to, the inventory. Of course, we rely on things coming in on time. We rely on getting them out on time. We rely on the shippers delivering them on time. But sometimes things go wrong. Packages get stolen, people get porch pirates, and that's not a reflection on us. People say it's a reflection on us. But the reality is that's the reality. It doesn't break the trust that our customers have with us, that our fans have with us, because they know that we are a legitimate company. We know that we're an established company, and they know that there's a lot of security around the work we do when we deal with the public. People who are hired in our company are trustworthy people. They're not people who are unreliable, untrustworthy. And when we do our jobs, we do them to the best of our ability. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we learn from them and we keep growing. In order to keep growing, we have to have humility. We have to know that we don't know it all. That's why I went to university. That's why I studied. Because I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow, I wanted to have good credentials so that when I went into the workplace, I would be able to use my skills and knowledge to better society, not to be persecuted because I have good values, I have good ideals, I have good ways of doing things. And yet, in our world today, that is exactly what is happening. People who have good values, people who are doing the right things, people who are doing what we should be doing are getting persecuted. And those who have money and can buy the World Cup, they are the ones who are winning. And it's not right. It's not right. The Great Reset is not right. When we have character, when we know what our limitations are, when we focus on doing the internal work within ourselves, we can help our companies. When we know our weaknesses, we can help our companies. So for me, I know I'm sensitive. That's not what other people see as good. I'm not thick-skinned. In some situations, that's not a quality people want you to have. But in other situations, it's a gift. So we have to find a way to use our skills and make money and build up our communities and not stay in minimum wage forever. And it's very, very hard when you've gone what I've gone through, where you've had short-term contracts and people put you down for it. But if there was no other work available, what did they want me to do? If that's all I could get at the time, isn't it commendable that I took those opportunities and I did the work and I did it with a good heart and good intentions? That should be a reflection of the fact that, yes, I'm a professional, yes, I'm able to hold a job, yes, I'm able to take consulting roles and do them. But yet when people forwarded jobs to me, instead of forwarding jobs to me that were paying 60,000, 70,000 a year, the extended family were sending me jobs paying minimum wage because they didn't trust me. They did not see that my project coordinator roles were at the executive level. They did not see that I was working as an executive. They did not see that I was credentialed. They did not see that I was trustworthy. So for them, all they thought I was capable of doing was minimum wage jobs. But I've been on boards, I've been on leadership positions, and leadership is not about your title in the community. Many of us who were with the One campaign or who had been in demonstrations and protests put our lives at risk for people who may not be able to pay us back. And it's the same with the volunteering that I do with the One campaign. I do it because the artists put their lives at risk for us. All these artists that stood up for human rights, that stood up to get aid for Ethiopia in the drought, that brought aid to Africa, that brought the human rights concerts to Harare. And yes, I was the only one in my family that went to those concerts because I believed in it and I believed in what the artists were doing. Now those artists are selling their tickets for 500, 600. I can't go and see them because I cannot afford those packages. Does it mean that I give up? That I say, oh well, I'm never going to get there? No, it doesn't. I hope to get to that place where I can afford those packages. But right now, I cannot afford them. You see people who are money makers. They buy tickets at $20 or $30 and then they sell them for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. How unethical is that? There should be checks and balances. There should be things put in place where if they're reselling, they should have to resell it at the same price that they bought it for, because it's not fair to the public. Some of the university leading professors on ethics are saying they should make it like a ticket that you buy to go to the flight you're on or the train you're on. So your name is on it, your seat number, everything is on it. And then if you're going to resell it, then that has to be changed. And it has to be at the same price so that they can't sell the tickets for astronomical amounts. Because it's not fair to us Christians who fought for human rights, who fought for education, who fought for medical treatment for the global south and India and the poorest nations. It's not fair to us that our lives are crumbling and we can't get decent jobs, we can't get good paid work, we can't get good opportunities. And yet people who are doing well in society and can get good paying jobs because they have the networks are flourishing. There should be a way for the rest of us to come up as well, and for our faith to be our strength, where we get our beauty, where we get our nourishment, where we get our hope, not to be persecuted for it and punished for it. It's not right that people are able to buy the World Cup and boast about it. How is that right? I would not trust a nation like that. Just the same way I don't trust our government because of the corruption. So trust is important. If there's no trust, then our companies don't keep us. Or if they think we're just taking advantage, then our companies don't keep us. Trust is important. Humility and being willing to learn is important. Authenticity is important. Because if we can't be our authentic selves, if we can't be who we are at work, then it's not right. We have to be able to be authentic. We have to be able to be comfortable in our own skin, so to speak. And if people are not comfortable, if you have to be completely formal all the time, then you're not bringing your full self to that opportunity. But it's important for me, I focus on these books, I read them, I learn from them, and I work through the workbooks. And then I share my knowledge with others so that others can also learn. Because having degrees and having qualifications is hard work. You don't get there without discipline. You don't get there without budgeting. You don't get there without time management. You don't get there without being able to plan your calendar. If you have a calendar, I never had a calendar. I still don't put things in a calendar. But you don't get there if you don't have the skills to graduate. And that's why it's important for us when we're going through hard times, when we're going through difficult times, to focus on those things, to focus on how far we've come and how we've done it and the positive things. Because if people are feeding negative things into us, telling us you're not trustworthy, we don't think you can hold a job, we don't think you have good decision-making skills, we don't think you'll be able to travel on your own, we don't think you'll be able to manage, we don't think you'll be able to get a good paying job. All those things feeding into us are just dragging us down. And if you have that opportunity to be a homeowner, to prove yourself and to do it on your own, why not do it? Why not take it? Because you are worthy of it. Just like everybody else, you are worthy of having the opportunities, and hard work should be rewarded. I shouldn't be punished because I went to university and I worked hard and I qualified and I got my HR designation and I got my John Maxwell licensed speaking skills, but yet I'm punished for it. And I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be told we don't think you can hold a permanent job, because it's not true. And for 11 years, that's what I went through. And every time they let me go, it affected me. It affected me. It affected me. And I used to come home and say, why? If I did a good job, why? Why can't you renew my contract? Why can't you help me? Why is it always me that's on the losing end? Because I did work hard, and I did study, and I did have humility. I didn't think I was better than others, or I didn't think that, oh, I don't need to learn because I know it all. I didn't laugh when people gave me whatever increase I got. I just said thank you. And I moved on. Because things are hard. Companies sometimes don't have a budget to give you anything more than the little they can give you. May not be much, but I always said thank you. There were times, yes, I pushed for a little bit more because I've also got bills to pay. I've also got electricity and food and water and rent. I've also got all those things to pay. And it's hard when you have to do it all on your own and there's no support. And I did have to do it all on my own. I bought all my furniture on my own. I bought my crockery, my cutlery on my own. I bought my TV on my own. Whatever money I was given, if it was for a gift or whatever, I used it to replace things in my home. I bought a couch and I put it together by myself. I used my woodworking skills that I learned in high school. So skills are never wasted. It's about how we use them and what action we take. Leadership is not about titles. If leadership was about titles, people like me wouldn't risk being arrested at protests or standing up for the One campaign or standing up to volunteer in our church. We wouldn't do it. Why would we? Because we get persecuted for it. And people who don't go to church, people who don't volunteer, people who don't do anything, they benefit while we get persecuted. It doesn't make sense unless you understand what Christ came for and what the artists that I support, like U2, like Bono, Springsteen, Sting, Tracy Chapman, Yuso Indoor, Peter Gabriel, it won't make sense to you what we're doing unless you understand what love is and what love in action is. Because you'll laugh at me, you'll say, haha, she only got 50 cents, look at her with her degrees. but it's better than nothing. I know people ridicule me, people put me down, people belittle me, but they did that to Christ. They did that to early Christians as well. It's part of our journey. We don't give up because our faith is not in human beings. Our faith is in Jesus Christ. And that's where the strength that we get comes from. That's how I can put a smile on my face even though I have no money in my bank account and look like a 20-year-old, because my joy is not coming from having money or not having money. Whether I have money or don't have money, I put a smile on my face. And I'm polite and I'm professional and I carry on. I figure it out. I don't have all the network that my sister, my brother-in-law, the other people that they know have. I didn't have that. I didn't have it in England and I didn't have it here. I've worked for it, and I've worked to build up my network and to build up through volunteering the people I know to help my community. And unfortunately, the financial rewards have not come for me, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to give up. I won't, because I know I was a very good assistant and I did a very good job. And I bring that love that I have to my executives, and that's why the executives that know me appreciated me. Those that don't know me took offense at it. So I don't want to work for people like that, who take offense when you show some affection. It's not a good fit. I don't want to work for people who don't trust me when I'm the executive assistant. It's not a good fit. So I will keep applying for those executive assistant jobs or related kind of jobs, and I'll keep persevering until finally a door opens for me where I can earn the kind of money I want to earn. And you have to keep having trust, you have to keep having faith, you have to keep being authentic, and you have to keep showing humility. And humility is not saying, oh, I'm not worthy of anything. No. Humility knows that we don't know everything, and everything is under God's plan. And there is evil in the world, but there is also good in the world. That's why we fought to get the vaccines that were expiring out to the global south and to India when COVID was at its peak, because the government was going to throw them away. And we won. And that's why we fight. We fight in unity and we fight in numbers. And we'll continue to fight because we are worth it.